Most of us eat not because we're hungry, but because it's time. Breakfast at a certain hour, lunch during a short break, dinner late at night, often out of habit rather than need. Over time, these patterns quietly shape how our body stores energy, repairs itself, and even how our brain functions. Intermittent fasting has become one of the most talked about health trends of the last decade. Some people call it a metabolic reset. Others see it as unnecessary or even risky. Today, we'll step away from hype and fear. We'll explore what science actually says about intermittent fasting, its benefits, its risks, and what it realistically means for everyday life. Intermittent fasting is not a diet in the traditional sense. It doesn't tell you what foods to eat, but when to eat them. Instead of constant grazing throughout the day, intermittent fasting creates intentional periods where your body is not processing food. Common approaches include time-restricted eating, such as an 8-hour eating window, or alternate patterns where fasting occurs once or twice per week. But at its core, the idea is simple: giving the body a break from digestion. So why would that matter? Because digestion is metabolically expensive. Every time we eat, insulin rises, energy is stored, and the body shifts into processing mode. Fasting allows the body to switch gears. After several hours without food, insulin levels begin to drop. This matters because lower insulin allows the body to access stored energy more easily. Instead of relying on incoming calories, the body starts using fat and stored fuel. At the same time, cellular repair processes increase. One of the most studied mechanisms is autophagy, a kind of internal cleanup where cells recycle damaged components. Think of it as maintenance mode for your body. This shift doesn't happen instantly. It's gradual. And it's one reason why intermittent fasting isn't about starving. It's about timing. So what does this mean in real life? For some people, it translates into better metabolic flexibility, improved blood sugar control, and more stable energy levels throughout the day. Research suggests intermittent fasting may support weight management, not because it's magic, but because it often reduces mindless eating. Fewer eating windows can naturally lower total calorie intake without strict tracking. There's also growing evidence linking fasting patterns to improved insulin sensitivity, which plays a key role in preventing metabolic conditions over time. Some studies indicate potential benefits for brain health. Fasting appears to influence pathways related to stress resistance and cognitive resilience. This may help explain why some people report improved mental clarity once their body adapts. However, it's important to be precise here. These benefits depend heavily on consistency, overall nutrition, and individual health status. Intermittent fasting is not for everyone. For individuals with a history of eating disorders, strict fasting windows can be psychologically harmful. For others, especially those with certain medical conditions, fasting may disrupt blood sugar balance. Early side effects can include fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. These are often temporary, but they're signals worth listening to. Another reality is that fasting does not cancel out poor nutrition. Highly processed foods consumed in a short window can still strain the body. So the key question becomes, is fasting a tool or a trap? The answer depends on how it's used. From a long-term health perspective, sustainability matters more than intensity. A fasting pattern that improves metabolic health but increases stress or social isolation may not be worth it. Some of the longest living populations in the world don't follow strict fasting schedules. Instead, they tend to eat earlier, eat less at night, and avoid constant snacking. The pattern is subtle, not extreme. Intermittent fasting, when aligned with lifestyle and personal biology, can support health. When forced or rigid, it often backfires. Here are a few grounded, practical insights. First, focus on meal timing before extreme restriction. Simply avoiding late-night eating can already improve metabolic health. Second, prioritize food quality. Fasting works best when paired with nutrient-dense meals. Third, pay attention to energy, mood, and sleep. These signals matter more than any schedule. Fourth, flexibility beats perfection. Occasional deviation does not erase long-term benefits. Intermittent fasting is not a shortcut to health, and it's not a requirement either. It's a framework. One way of understanding how timing influences the body's natural rhythms. True health rarely comes from extreme rules. It comes from awareness, balance, and choices that can be sustained over time. When we understand how our body responds to food and rest, we move from following trends to making informed decisions. One day at a time.